FIFA just made $15 billion from the 2026 World Cup, more than double what it earned from the previous tournament. And 2 days after the final whistle, it announced it wants to raise $4.2 billion more by selling stakes in the World Cup to private investors. Tuesday, July 28, 2026. FIFA officially announced a new commercial subsidiary, FIFA Forward Enterprise, which would consolidate the World Cup's broadcasting rights, sponsorship, ticketing, and licensing under one entity, and sell minority stakes to outside investors. The valuation, $20 billion. UEFA responded within hours. The football world responded within hours. A U.S. congressman launched a formal investigation. And Sepp Blatter, the man Infantino replaced as FIFA president, appeared publicly to say, "Nobody has the right to sell our game." But the plan itself is only the beginning, because who is actually buying tells you everything you need to know. The name of the entity is FIFA Forward Enterprise, FFE. Under the proposal, FIFA would consolidate its commercial rights, broadcasting, sponsorship, ticketing, licensing, and the operational delivery of its tournaments, including the World Cup and the Club World Cup, into this single new subsidiary. Then it would sell minority, non-controlling stakes in FFE to external private investors. The financial structure: the initial equity valuation of FFE, $20 billion. The amount FIFA is seeking to raise, up to $4.2 billion. FIFA's position throughout: investors receive economic upside, a share of the commercial returns, but no governance power whatsoever. FIFA retains, in its own framing, sole control and exclusive authority over football governance, competitions, the match calendar, and all sporting and regulatory decisions. The pitch to FIFA's 211 member associations, the federations whose votes Infantino depends on for everything, is the financial argument. Currently, member associations are promised $8 million each through the 2027 to 2030 development funding cycle. Under FFE, that rises to $20 million per member for the same cycle, then $22 million, then $24 million in subsequent cycles running all the way through 2038. The carrot is significant, and it is entirely deliberate. The outline of the plan was reportedly first detailed by Infantino to FIFA members in Manhattan on July 18, 2026, one day before the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina. The Times of London first reported the story. FIFA then confirmed details in an official statement the following day. The two named financial partners, JP Morgan as strategic advisor on the deal, and Thrive Capital as a prospective cornerstone investor. The proposal requires approval from a majority of FIFA's 211 national associations and its 37-member council. It is not yet approved. It is not yet law. But the speed of the announcement one day after the World Cup final, buried under the noise of celebrations, and the identity of that prospective cornerstone investor are precisely why the football world erupted within hours of the story breaking. Thrive Capital is a venture capital firm. Its founder, Joshua Kushner. Josh Kushner is the brother of Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law. Multiple outlets confirm the Trump administration is reportedly already aware of Infantino's plan. UEFA issued a statement almost immediately, in some accounts before FIFA had even published its own press release. The key lines: this crosses a line that football's governing institutions should never cross. The soul and governance of football are not assets to trade, especially with zero transparency as to who gains financially. None of us are the owners of football. It is not FIFA's to sell. UEFA went further than words. Sky Sports News and ESPN sources reported that UEFA's 55 European member associations are preparing an emergency virtual meeting this week to coordinate a unified response. The specific tactic being discussed: a boycott threat. Sky Sports reported a willingness among UEFA nations to use that threat as leverage if FIFA pushes ahead with the plan. This is not a new weapon. In 2021, when Infantino pushed a proposal to hold the World Cup every 2 years instead of 4, UEFA threatened a boycott. That plan was shelved entirely. UEFA knows exactly how much weight that threat carries and is preparing to use it again for exactly the same reason. Because it worked last time. The process grievance runs alongside the policy objection. England's Football Association was reportedly not informed of the plan before FIFA's announcement. The proposal was absent from discussions with national federations in the lead-up to the final. European officials described being blindsided, not just opposed, but excluded from the conversation before it became public. UEFA President Alexander Ceferin, also a FIFA vice president, did not attend the World Cup final. His absence was reported as connected to his ongoing disagreements with Infantino over governance. Andy Burnham, mayor of Greater Manchester, became the first prominent political figure globally to condemn the plan. Football does not belong to investors. It belongs to the people who fill the stands. The World Cup is not a product. It is the greatest competition in world sport. Then Sepp Blatter appeared, Infantino's predecessor, the man removed from FIFA's presidency in disgrace. He posted on social media that the relationship between the FIFA president and the US president has reached a financial dimension that is deeply damaging football. No one has the right to sell our game. When Sepp Blatter is the voice of football's integrity, the situation has reached somewhere genuinely unprecedented. Joshua Kushner's involvement is not the only line connecting this deal to the White House. The relationship between Infantino and Trump across the 2026 World Cup is documented, dated, and specific. In December 2025, Infantino awarded Trump the first-ever FIFA Peace Prize at the World Cup draw in Washington, a prize that had never existed before and was created specifically for this occasion, described by one U.S. congressman's letter as hilariously fake. In July 2025, FIFA leased office space inside Trump Tower in New York, estimated market value approximately $600,000 per year. During the tournament, Trump called Infantino multiple times, urging FIFA to review USMNT striker Folarin Balogun's red card before the round of 16 match against Belgium. FIFA subsequently deferred the suspension, allowing Balogun to play, a decision condemned by Belgium's federation, UEFA, and multiple national associations as a direct contradiction of the competition regulations. Trump attended the World Cup final and the trophy presentation alongside Infantino, watching from a luxury suite. The crowd booed when they appeared on the pitch together. On July 27, 2026, one day before the FFE announcement, Representative Jamie Raskin, the ranking member of the U.S. House Judiciary Committee, sent a letter to Infantino announcing a formal investigation into mounting evidence of corruption and a potential quid pro quo between FIFA and the Trump administration. Raskin's letter requests all documents on anything of value given to Trump, his administration, family members, or affiliated entities. It requests Infantino sit for a transcribed interview before the committee. It directly links the FFE and Kushner stake sale news to the broader allegations, the letter arriving the same week the FFE deal became public, a timing described in coverage as explicitly connected. Raskin also raises the dynamic ticket pricing that produced a reported $33,000 peak price for the World Cup final, and the investigations already opened by New York and New Jersey attorneys general into FIFA's ticketing practices. Democrats also framed the investigation within a longer pattern, citing the Trump administration's earlier decision to drop a long-running Department of Justice corruption probe into FIFA, which had historically involved approximately $200 million in bribes and kickbacks across 20 countries. Raskin is currently in the House minority. His ability to compel documents or testimony is limited before the November midterms, but the investigation is formally opened, and the letter arrived one day before the FFE announcement. To understand the FFE announcement as a pattern rather than an isolated event, you need to look at what Infantino has already done to the World Cup across his presidency. Start with the hydration breaks. In December 2025, FIFA announced that every match at the 2026 World Cup would include a mandatory 3-minute hydration break at the midpoint of each half, officially framed as a player welfare measure for North American summer conditions. The commercial reality. Fox, the U.S. English-language broadcaster, is estimated to have generated between $250 million and $600 million in additional advertising revenue from those breaks, against a total U.S. television rights deal that cost Fox $485 million to acquire in the first place. Individual 30-second advertising slots during hydration breaks reportedly cost around $200,000. During U.S. matches, that figure rose to $750,000. During the final, $8 million for 30 seconds of airtime. The breaks created more than 7 hours of additional advertising inventory across the entire tournament. Infantino's public position. FIFA itself does not make any additional revenue directly from the ad breaks. The Irish Times noted, "This is only narrowly true. The advertising opportunity would have been priced into FIFA's broadcast rights negotiations up front. FIFA captured the value at the rights fee stage rather than from the breaks themselves directly. The framing is technically accurate and commercially convenient." Then, the halftime show. July 19th, MetLife Stadium. The first ever halftime show at a World Cup final required extending the legally mandated 15-minute halftime break to over 27 minutes. IFAB rules specify halftime must not exceed 15 minutes. FIFA granted itself a self-exemption from the rule its own body oversees. The show ran 11 minutes of performance inside a 27-minute break. A marketing consultant quoted in coverage said, "Organizers pushed for the extended break specifically with commercial opportunities in mind." And then the expansion. The 2026 tournament was the first 48-team World Cup, up from 32, adding 40 additional matches. FIFA is now examining a further expansion to 64 teams for 2030, opposed by UEFA, CONCACAF, and the AFC. Infantino describes it as interesting and worth examining. Hydration breaks, halftime shows, expansion to 48 teams, a proposed expansion to 64, a $20 billion subsidiary with private investors, each step in exactly the same direction, and FIFA's revenue doubled in one tournament cycle. The most explosive detail in the FFE announcement is not the deal structure. It is a single line in the Times of London's original report. A CEO-like commissioner role at the new FFE entity could be created for Infantino himself. FIFA's official response: "This has never been discussed," while simultaneously stating that the FIFA president and administration will and must have leading roles in the entity if approved. Those two sentences do not reconcile. The timeline matters. Infantino's presidency is due to end when he turns 61, born March 1970, approximately 2031. CBS Sports and Yahoo Sports report he is expected to become FFE commissioner after winning the 2027 presidential election first, then transitioning when the presidency ends. The financial dimension. Yahoo Sports, citing the Times, reports that if the deal proceeds, Infantino's salary as FFE commissioner would be set on par with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's, reported at approximately $64 million a year. Yahoo Sports also reports that if the deal closes, Infantino personally would reportedly stand to gain tens of millions of dollars. The man proposing the deal is the man who would run the entity the deal creates, at a salary comparable to the highest-paid commissioner in American professional sport. This is not the first time Infantino has pushed a multi-billion-dollar proposal involving private financial backers. Euronews and the Associated Press also frame FFE as the second such attempt in his 11-year presidency, a pattern, not a one-off. At his 2023 re-election in Rwanda, Infantino said any CEO delivering similar financial results would be kept in the job forever. Reporters have cited that line in FFE coverage as foreshadowing that was hiding in plain sight for 3 years. Then there is his July 27th Instagram post, one day before the FFE announcement. He told his critics to meditate, pray, or watch a football match. He described them as people spreading hate and false rumors. He claimed the tournament had no violence, 100% safety, posted while a formal FIFA brawl investigation was open. A congressman had launched a corruption inquiry, and UEFA was preparing an emergency boycott meeting. UEFA said it plainly, it is not FIFA's to sell. The question the football world is now asking is whether anyone has the power to stop it. So, step back and look at the full picture. $15 billion in World Cup revenue, double the previous record. Hydration breaks generating hundreds of millions in extra advertising. A halftime show that broke its own rules to run nearly twice the legal limit. A proposal to expand to 64 teams that continental federations across 3 continents have rejected. Now, a $20 billion commercial subsidiary with a Trump family-connected cornerstone investor and a potential $64 million per year commissioner role for the man who designed every piece of it. UEFA says it crosses a line. A U.S. congressman has opened a formal corruption investigation. Sepp Blatter says football is not for sale. And Infantino posted on Instagram telling his critics to meditate, pray, or watch a football match. Is FIFA selling the World Cup? And if it is, does anyone have the power to stop it? Drop your verdict below, subscribe, and stay close.